And on 1, 3, 2, 1, 3. Go.
Friends, welcome back. I am Jason, and you're looking at my camp that I've been staying in for the past couple nights. And I will be staying in for the next couple nights probably, and maybe beyond that as well. The next several nights, probably the next week or so. This is what I've got. Very minimal gear, doesn't take up a whole lot of space. All of that was in the saddlebags on the tiny little XR150L. So, let's go on the tour. Friends, you're looking at my bedroom. This is it. I'm using a very inexpensive Grand Trunk hammock that I've had for way over 10 years now. I have a fleece little blanket that I have sewn a toe box. I got this idea from my buddy Ruben. Sewed up the toe box right there, so when I stick my feet into my blanket, my feet don't get all uncovered in the middle of the night, and that's especially nice when you use it in conjunction with a bivy bag like this one right here, so you're not just tangled up, wadded up in your blanket in the middle of the night. The bivy bag is awesome because it can keep the rain off you, keep the wind off you. It gives you about, I would guess, about 10 degrees extra on any kind of sleeping bag that you're wearing. So if you've got a 30-degree rated sleeping bag, this might get you down to 20 degrees comfortably, give or take. I've got a sleep pad here if I should need to sleep on the ground somewhere. Let's say there aren't trees conveniently located where I'm trying to camp. I can just sleep on the ground. But since it's summertime and the bugs are out, the hammock is the way to go, if at all possible, especially if you're sweaty and wet. This allows you to dry out a little bit, keep you off the wet ground, but specifically keeps you away from the bugs. I don't always do this, but you see this little ridge line right here. It's not really necessary to hold up my poncho tarp there. It's just nice to be able to dry my wet clothes out. I can put my dirty socks up there, my dirty drawers, whatever, my hats and handkerchiefs and stuff, my silk scarf that my good buddy Dustin gave to me so I can keep the mosquitoes off of my face. It's pretty dang handy. So that's my dresser. You know what I mean? That's my shelf. That's where I keep things. Hang my flashlight up here. I think that's what I got going on there. Hang my flashlight, clip that on. I can see what I'm doing, hands-free sort of deal, which is always nice. I've got the corners of my poncho tied out with some camouflage paracord to make it convenient for me to trip over it in low light situations, which I think is always fun. I use a little toggle stick here. Very simple. I tie loops in the end of my line. I stick it through a little loop that I've got in the corners of my poncho, and then I stick a stick through it, and that keeps it there. And when you want to break this down, you're done with your camp for the day. When you're packing up, you just do that, and everything falls apart, and you can stow away your cordage and everything. Pretty dang simple. Bugs in my eyeballs. Bugs in my eyeballs. Any old stick will do, as long as it's not completely rotten. Essentially, you just do that. Stick a stick through, and that's all you need. Same thing here. Just give myself a little bit more headroom, a little bit more space under there by just elevating the hood of the poncho a little bit. You could tie overhead, anything. And this isn't absolutely necessary to do, but it does give you a few more inches of space. It's always nice. Dry bag came off the motorcycle. I've got my spare clothes and stuff in there. Just dangle that onto the cordage that's holding up my hammock. Same thing here. Just got my fanny pack with some extra supplies and stuff like that dangling in there. If it should happen to get rainy and nasty and wet, I could do a couple different things. This is my kitchen at the moment. You can see I keep everything dry. I've got my raincoat spread out, keeping that dry. I can hang my food in the same place, and I keep my gear dry just by doing something basic, simple like that. I try to keep it as simple as I possibly can. Motorcycle's carrying a lot of my gear still, toting it around. It's mostly empty at the moment, but it's got a few of my supplies, like for example my like my supply of meat. I've got it stowed on the motorcycle, so at any moment, if I get hungry, I can just pull that out of there and get myself a bite. You know,
Let me get a close-up of that. Let me get some B-roll of your meat steak here. Let me get that upward angle.
I got my Grail water filter right here, so I can clean the water that I find, whatever it may be. It might be chemical contaminants, might be bacteria, whatever. I can filter the water, and then it's also the water bottle. So that is why I use it. They're big and bulky and heavy, and the filters are kind of expensive to replace. It's got some downsides, but it's just really super convenient, and it works really, really well. For that reason, I think it's kind of worth the bulk and the heft. My camp cup that I never go anywhere without. Got a few little odds and ends in there. Nothing super serious. And then over here, you can see I've got my laundry room where I take care of business. You know, after I do a little cleansing of the clothing, the drawers there, I can hang them out on my line, let them air dry because of the beautiful weather we've got going on right now, attached to my camouflage guy line that I could easily trip over. But I haven't yet. I haven't tripped over it yet. So that's pretty much it, guys. I've traveled halfway across the country, literally. I've camped out on the way here. I've camped out here. And then I've got a few days of traveling on the way back. And then I'm back on the road again. I'm switching gears off of the motorcycle and going onto a bicycle. But I'm bringing basically the same equipment onto a bicycle as well. So I'm going to be like 2 weeks straight, essentially, of camping out just like this. It's absolute minimum. Is it luxury? Absolutely not. A lot of people in the comment section say, you know, what do you do about bugs? And what do you do about this and that? You just deal with it for the most part. And you stop crying about it like a little girl. There's mosquito net hammocks and stuff like that. Like I've got a Hennessy hammock, which is really great. But the thing is, it's a brick. It's a chunk of gear. And it makes it difficult to pack when you're trying to pack light and small and, you know, doing things the way I like to do them. So this is the way I get it done. I'm covered up in my bivy bag at a minimum at night. I put something over my face, put something over my head that keeps the bugs from biting me. Wear gloves if I want to. That's the way I do it. It's the absolute minimum. It keeps the rain off you. Luckily it hasn't stormed on us yet, but this morning it was really threatening to, and this would have kept me dry. Is it perfect? No. And if rain was like beating in sideways, you know, coming in like crazy, I might get a little wet if it weren't for that bivy bag. So that's why I like both of them in conjunction. I have my hammock suspended by these ropes right here that I've been using forever. And I could do a couple different things. I could tie another piece of string around this tree and secure it like that. But what I usually do, to be honest with you, is I just take this little piece of string right here, this piece of bank line that I've got attached to all four corners of my poncho, and I find a spot right here on the actual rope that's holding up my hammock, and I do the same little toggle deal like that. And that's what's holding up my tarp. This right here is pretty important. This acts as a drip line, so if water comes, what happens if it rains really hard? It's not in a light rain, it doesn't really matter, but if it's bucketing down, rain will come down this tree, it'll trickle down, it'll get on this rope, and it'll run downhill until it gets to this point right here. And instead of going this way and then potentially soaking my hammock, most of that water is going to come here to this lowest point and then drip off of here. And that keeps me a little bit drier as well. So aside from my giant stick of pepperoni that I haven't even started eating yet, I need to start digging into that. My other rations that I picked up on the way here is just some bananas. This is stuff while I'm at camp. I wouldn't take bananas if I was still traveling because they'd just get smashed. But when you're at camp and stationary, it's good to have stuff like that. I picked up tortillas. My staple of my diet, staple of the Salyer diet, is peanut butter and honey. So you mix all that together right there, and you've got yourself a pretty divine meal, my friends. I don't know if your motorcycle has a installed machete mod, but mine does, because sometimes you need to hack some stuff. I don't know if it might be a zombie skull or just clearing out your camp, but you should always have a machete mod on any motorcycle. So friends, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate all the thumbs up and the subscriptions and all the things you do to help support my small business, my small channel. I'm grateful for it. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that. And until next time, what's the worst that could happen? Let's just go on 3. Through the jungle swamp. Pull it up.